Fallout New Vegas is probably one of the best RPGs I've ever played when it comes to the story, the characters, and the freedom, but all of this is at a severe detriment of its gameplay and visuals. Don't get me wrong, I really like this game. It is this game that has made me invested in Fallout as a universe, but I think even the staunchest Fallout New Vegas supporter will agree that the gameplay part of New Vegas is really fucking rough. But before I start my incessant whining, let's count the positives. The reasons why I'm looking forward to playing all of the DLCs after installing some gameplay and visual mods. First and foremost is the character creation. I absolutely loved the depth and uniqueness with which you can build your character. The special stat allocation, the individual skill system, and on top of all of that, perks. Perks that aren't just a number upgrade but actual unique skills that may give you an advantage over others, or the many perks that level the playing field by giving you a debuff and a buff, leading to a truly unique and rich experience because you get to decide how your character progresses, and with each decision you get to see visible differences, whether it is from a gameplay perspective or from a role-playing / storytelling one. It doesn't just stop there because the skills are not just for the numbers upgrade. They also unlock certain perks at different levels, and these skills can also be used in dialogue. The earliest example is in Goodsprings itself, where the game subtly nudges you into the fact that you can use these skills to get your way depending on the conversation and the person. I love the dialogue options in this game. They truly feel rich and thought out, especially when you add in the fact that it's not just speech or charisma that affects them. It's everything from other special stats, skill levels, and some perks. This is a big part of how New Vegas truly makes you feel like you're creating your own unique stories. So just to remind you all, I've only played the base game and I've only done one complete playthrough, and I'm not really planning on replaying the game anytime soon, considering how dated and unstable it feels. So after my own playthrough, I ended up binging a lot of Oxhorn's videos, and they really made me appreciate this game on a whole another level. Some of the characters in this game are phenomenally written. Almost all of the companions have rich stories associated with them, and they actually feel like a person rather than just a meat shield and extra DPS. I used Eddie and Boone as my companions throughout my playthrough, and before I proceed any further, I am going to admit that this video will piss off or at least annoy a lot of people who love this game. And that is fine, because it is true that I lost my patience with the game after a certain point and I started rushing things cause the gameplay was either boring, annoying, or unstable. Another thing to note is that I played it on Epic because I got it for free there, and I found out after I had finished my playthrough that this version was especially unstable and not compatible with many mods. So this also tanked any motivation for me to play further, because I thought to install Viva New Vegas to solve most of the problems I had with the game, but it just wouldn't install properly. And apparently that's cause of the Epic version, and also because I didn't really want to spend hours trying to fix this just to play the game without pulling my hair out. So I just finished the game at a point that I felt satisfied with my experience. So just to clarify, I'm not a professional reviewer, and this is just me sharing my experience of the game, so keep that in mind. So going back to the praises of the game, characters like Mr. House and Arcade Gannon are just some of the best, and a lot of other characters are just as good, and it's just a matter of preference. The factions in this game are so rich, and I love that they have been given depth. And a reputation is separate for each faction with varying levels that make it absolutely amazing for role-playing and having the ability to choose with no bullshit, like with many other RPG and choice-based games, like Bethesda and Telltale. The Legion is fucking bonkers and absolutely not a good faction to support for anyone with even a single brain cell. Yet talking with Caesar and other members of the Legion gives you their perspective and why they think they work. You can even see conflict between the Legion itself. All of this combined makes the faction feel real. It incentivizes you to explore your options because it's not just an arbitrary decision you make based on who looks cooler or who gives you better stuff. The fact that there are still debates all over the internet about which faction is the best choice for the Mojave is a testament to how well Obsidian wrote this game. I went with the NCR for the future of the Mojave because, as broken as they are, I still feel that in a world where the Legion and the Fiends aren't ravaging the Mojave, NCR can thrive under good and stable leadership with a few passionate and earnest people under it. It will still have its problems, but it's the most stable and civilized out of any other option. At least that's what I hope. It's certainly better than the Legion or Mr. House. Rejecting the Legion was a no-brainer. No matter how stable and efficient they seem, their problems insurmountably outweigh any benefits. While Mr. House is a different case altogether. Killing him genuinely seems like a tragedy, as his knowledge could propel the wasteland civilization to new heights, but his ego is too much of a blinder when it comes to actually looking out for the people of the wasteland. His plan favors the rich and makes them all the more richer while trampling on the less fortunate. The story in this game is genuinely a masterclass, as any new playthrough where you make the slightest deviation could net you a slightly to a completely different experience altogether, which is a treat for anyone who loves to roleplay or anyone who genuinely cares about the lore and immersion of the world. If this game were to ever get a proper remake, then this would absolutely skyrocket to my top 15 games. Now onto the problems of the game that drained my patience. I'm gonna make this really short. I don't want to spend a lot of time just bitching. So I'll start with the one that is the most iffy, and it might just be a skill issue to be honest. But the thing is, in any other single player shooter, most of the time my aim is pretty fucking good. I have platinumed the Resi 4 remake for fuck's sake. But here I am unable to hit a lot of my shots even though my crosshair is right the fuck there. I don't know what's happening. Well, with that out of the way, let's talk about the traversal in this game. It's so goddamn slow and boring and janky, and it's made all the more infuriating by this useless piece of shit map, especially the local map. I just have no idea why this doesn't have a run button. You even have action points that can count as stamina, but nah, we gotta waddle through the wasteland. This game is not exactly the prettiest of the bunch. I know I'm being too harsh here, especially on a game from the 2010s, but that's only because the traversal is so fucking slow that it makes me hate the environment even more. I hate having to open the Pip-Boy to switch weapons, so I started using the hotkeys because that makes the combat flow so much better, but the damn hotkeys reset every time our weapons are taken from us, which happens more often than not, especially during mid and late game. All of these things and a lot more have contributed heavily into breaking my patience with the game. I am not touching this game without mods, and even doing that is going to be difficult with the Epic launcher. Someday I'll return to this and finish its DLC because I'm excited to meet characters like Joshua Graham and Ulysses. With that, we come to the end of my whining about an old game being old. So until next time, see ya.